Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Magician with a Microphone podcast. This is the last podcast of 2021. Today is December 30th. I am Chris Langle with Chris Langle Magic, your host. And let me tell you something, man. This year flew by like nobody's business. I am not even kidding you. I started off the year in Myrtle Beach. I end it here back home in Connecticut. And I think today we're just going to have a year in review. Because, I mean, let's face it, this year was very rocky for me. This year sucked. This year rocked. This year had its benefits and its breakdowns. And I can tell you right now that, I had been on an emotional roller coaster ride, a physical roller coaster ride. I actually went on a roller coaster this year, so there's that. It was a kiddie coaster, but it still counts. So let's start from a year ago, 2 days ago, which is actually when I put up the podcast a couple of days ago, where I was talking about the year anniversary of my car accident, where I vowed I'll never drive again. We get into that day last year. That's the day I ended up going down to Myrtle Beach, basically kind of shipped down there last minute. Didn't really have a chance to develop myself or build myself down there. Got fucked over big time as far as I'm concerned. I mean, granted, I fucked up too, but I tried fixing my errors. And unfortunately, certain things happen, and certain people wanted to still, take action and do things, and things led up to other things, and now we're here. So, but let's rewind. Let's go to when I got down to Myrtle Beach. What's one of the first things I do? I go to Waffle House. That's where I met, and I'm not going to mention him by name, but that's where I met the person that I was staying with, who I was basically hooked up with by a friend with his friend. The guy I was staying with basically offered me a second chance, a place to stay rent-free, a chance to get me back on my feet and up and running and build my business and everything, and was going to introduce me to all of these really cool places down in Myrtle Beach, and let me get on my feet, let me get things figured out, and then help me, find my own place. Because originally the intention was I was going to be down there permanently. I wasn't coming back to Connecticut. That lasted all about a week. I was down there for about a month and a half, but yeah, that lasted all of about a week of, wanting to be down there. So I move in with this guy. I meet his mother, who seemed like a good person at first. I was warned about their alcohol problem, which at this point, I can be real, it wasn't a problem. It was an absolute fucking excuse. Or it was no excuse. I mean, it was their excuse to get through everything in life, was just by drinking their fucking life away. And I understand to a point as to why. Without getting too personal, a family member that was very close had previously passed away. And instead of, trying to do something, to benefit the legacy that said person had left. From what I understand, he was a fantastic human being. I guess he was loved by everyone that he encountered. I guess he was one of those people where it's like everybody within Myrtle Beach and outside of Myrtle Beach knew him. He was a local favorite. He was basically a Myrtle Beach living legend until he had passed away. And I guess when he did pass, the city had even acknowledged it. And, you only get that if you're of very high prominence, or if you're just that good of a person. And that's the only thing that I can assume about this guy without meeting him, is that he was just that good of a person. That he... I never heard a single bad thing spoken about this man. I never heard anything, anything but good things about him. And the thing that really annoyed me is the fact that you're going to take, you're the legacy of this wonderful, generous, all around well-respected human being, and you're a drunk, and that's what now follows your legacy, is you're now a drunk. And all of that good stuff that people had said they can no longer say about the next line. You know what I mean? So if that makes any sort of sense, that's me being very nice. And that's basically how I'm going to be describing everything, is I have to be as absolutely as nice and as, humble and forgiving as possible. Because even though my experience down there wasn't the best, it was actually fucking horrible, I did have good things that happened to me, and I did meet great people, and I did have good experiences that unfortunately are just completely shadowed by the bad experiences. Let me start over. I get down there, we hang out for a little bit. The first night, I realize how bad of a drunk he is. Keep in mind, too, I am working on being sober. I was in Alcoholics Anonymous at the time because I didn't want my girls taken away from me, and I didn't want my ex to leave, and it all happened, and I ran away, and she eventually went down to Florida, and yeah. All of that AA for nothing. I hate to say it. But I'm trying to stay clean. I'm trying to stay sober. It's very hard to do when you're living with two blatant fucking drunks. No other way to put it. We did have our good moments. He did show me around. He introduced me to some really cool spots that are down in Myrtle Beach. Showed me Broadway in depth. Showed me Barefoot Landing. Showed me the Market Commons, which I got banned from. One of the restaurants there, because apparently I never tipped the waiters and the bartenders, which I did. It's fucking bullshit, but, it is what it is. And, he gave me the permission to drive a truck around, and, I'm not a good driver. I don't like to drive, but I figured Myrtle Beach is a fuck ton bigger than Connecticut. I might as well take advantage of that. So everything's fine and good until I went out with him the first night, and we got into a little situation with Hell's Angels. And all I'm going to say with that, without getting into too much detail, is I was a designated driver, and he and his friend took advantage of the fact that I had no idea where I was. And he had been talking to a girl, I guess, who was associated with Hell's Angels, and once you're associated with them, you're stuck. And personally, I am terrified of Hell's Angels and biker gangs and biker clubs, and I try to stay the hell away from biker clubs as much as possible, because I've seen documentaries, and granted, I understand what they do for, charities and for children and stuff, but when you see the other side of that firsthand, you tend to not want to talk or associate yourself, so I try not to do that. But one of the first nights we're down there, I'm the designated driver. We pull into this restaurant, and he's pissed drunk with his friend, talking about going back to his friend's place, getting a couple of AR-15s, which I had physically seen. I knew they had them. And going back and killing everyone in there if they didn't get killed first. And at that point, they're, trying to egg me on to try to see if I wanted to be a part of this. And I said, absolutely the McFuck not. To that point, he got offended. And basically said, yeah, we do things different down here. You're stuck with us now. You're one of us. And I'm like, no, I am an entertainer, and I am, not doing this. So the incident happened. I got scared out of my fucking mind. Tried to stay my distance. I would go out and do my own thing. He would go to work. I would market, using his truck and everything. And then we went out to this place called the Bowery. And that night he got shit-faced, and we were driving his Mustang, and I was driving him home, and he's like, hey, I want to go into a parking lot and go do drifts. And I'm like, no, you're drunk, you're drinking. I don't want you to do that. And he's like, come on. And when he's drunk, he can't take no for an answer. Absolutely, you cannot talk him out of wanting to do something. So he eventually bugged me to the point where I pulled into this parking lot, which, was out of the way of traffic. It was pretty dark. It was lit. It was an old, I guess it was an old, like, grocery store parking lot that was just there. And he gets on the driver's side and just starts doing donuts and, starts doing spin outs and stuff. And then he wants me to do it. He's like, come on, do it. And I'm like, dude, no, I don't know how to do this. I don't have experience in doing this. I don't drive. I don't drive, stupidly like you want me to. No. Again, wouldn't take no for an answer. I'm like, dude, no. Again, he's bugging me. We're not leaving until you do it. All right, fine. So I get behind the wheel. I do like 2 or 3 spin outs. I'm trying to get back to the center of the parking lot so we can leave. I hit a curb, one of those little median islands that the light posts are on. The things that like divide where the parking lot and the road to get out of the parking lot. I basically hit that and bent his 2 front rims on his Mustang. So, automatically I feel bad. I'm in a panic. I call my friend. The one that I called, or that got me down to Myrtle Beach in the first place, in with this guy. I'm like, what should I do? He's going to kill me. I don't know what to do. He's like, let me talk to him. And I thought he talked to him, and it turns out that he just tried to talk him out of killing me. And then the guy that I was staying with got all mad. This gets to be a pattern, all right? When I'm in a panic, I have my trust in people that I go to. And apparently you're not supposed to do that because they do things different down there in the South. And that was a whole thing down there. Around this time is when we get the second stimulus check from the government. My friend says he's coming down at the beginning of the year. Okay. This guy starts bugging me. I want new rims on my Mustang. I want new rims. I want new rims. You're going to pay for these rims. I want these on before a certain amount of time or else I'm going to shoot you. Exact words. I want this. I want these done. I want my car back. I'll kick the shit out of you right now. This is what I had to go deal with for like 3 days. All while he's drunk. I don't think I saw him sober much when I was down there. How much time in are we right now? Because I have a feeling that this podcast is going way over what I want it to. We're already 12 minutes in. Sweet. I have to unlock my phone screen in order to see because it's recording. So anyway, then this is the thing that basically made me vow to never drive again. And I've talked about this in the past, but I'll get into detail about it. And this is the absolute last time I ever talk about this because I want it to just be over with. I think it's been long enough to where I can avoid it now. And I tried to fix the situation, and when the opportunity was given, he didn't want it fixed. So I attempted. I was driving his truck one day around Myrtle Beach. My phone had fallen in a puddle. My phone was already cracked. It was all fucked up. It was broken to the point where you could see the LED screen, like the LED underneath the glass. It was raining that morning. I dropped my phone in a puddle. I was driving around. I stopped at one of the old resorts that I used to stay at when I would vacation down there to see if they still had one of the wristbands that I had. I religiously wore a wristband for like 6 years, and it finally broke at the middle of 2020. So I figured I'm going to go down and see if they still have it. They didn't. While I was at that resort, I met somebody who had 2 kids. One of their daughters was having a birthday that day. They didn't know what to do. I said, hey, I'm a magician. I have a full kids show with me. Would you like me to go do a show for you? She's like, come back and let me call you in an hour. I'm like, okay, cool. I get into the parking lot. I drop my phone, screen down. It is completely fucked. I'm like, okay, let me go to Walmart, buy a new phone with the remaining money that I've got from this stimulus check, because I spent fucking $350 on, I think it was $350 on new rims for this Mustang that I broke, which he didn't even like them. He was so ungrateful. I fixed the rims, I paid for them with my own money, and he proceeds to tell me that his car club wanted to kick him out and tell him to remove his badges from his Mustang because they weren't the right rims. Sorry, dude. I did what you wanted me to. So, This is what happened, and I'm being completely transparent about this right now because I think it's been long enough to where I can talk about this. I'm driving on 50, I think it's 501. I forget exactly what highway it is. 503, 501. I'm going towards Conway, leaving Myrtle Beach, going towards Conway. There's a certain section of the highway where there are traffic lights, and there is a Circle K gas station and a Chevrolet slash Chrysler slash, Chevrolet slash Cadillac slash something else dealership. Walmart is in the plaza right behind that, but I didn't know. I am trying to fidget with my phone while we're at a stoplight. My phone's not working. It's glitching. The screen's not working. So I just do the voice activation thing, which I can't say right now. You know what I'm talking about. I have Android. You know what to say. Or else my podcast will turn off right now. I tell it to get me to Walmart. It says, okay, in a certain amount of feet, go up and make a turn. As I'm putting my phone down on the chair next to me, I see the headlights in front of me go off. I see the cars on the side of me start moving forward. Instinct kicks in. Okay, lights turned green. Let me go. I take my foot off of the brake pedal. The car starts rolling. By the time I look up, I realize the light's still red. The car in front of me has put its lights back on, its brake lights back on, and I didn't have enough reaction time to hit the brakes again, and I rear-end the car in front of me. And that's when I realized that the car in front of me did not have a license plate. I thought, holy shit, I hit it so hard it fell off. No. It was a brand new Cadillac, I think it's a CT5, CS5, CT5, whatever the SUVs are, with 11 miles on it, straight off of the dealership floor. Didn't even have a buyer. I go into full fucking panic mode. I throw the truck in a park. I open up, I get my license out. I open up the dashboard. I find the registration. No insurance. No insurance. It wasn't insured. At this point, I'm thinking, fuck, I'm going to jail. The guy already was on the phone with the cops. I'm sitting there shaking, crying, almost throwing up. My phone's not working. I can't call for help. Cop shows up, asks if everybody's okay, asks me for my stuff, asks me, if I'm under the influence. I say no. He's like, you look a little shaky. I'm like, I'm having a panic attack right now. I'm not from here. I usually don't drive, and I just found out that this thing isn't insured. Or at least I can't find the insurance. He runs the plates, no insurance. Truck gets towed. I'm left on the fucking side of the highway. At least Walmart's right there, though, so I go into Walmart, and with the remaining amount of money that I have, I bought a new phone. And I was able to, buy the phone to get the service plan and call the guy I'm staying with to let him know what happened. And then proceed to call my friend that I have up here, that, again, not mentioning any names, to tell him what happened, and then proceed to tell a couple of other people, like, hey, this happened, I'm okay. I ended up getting 2 tickets that I eventually paid. That cost more than I wanted to. I had to pay for the truck to get out of impound. That cost a lot. And then finally, I think by the end of the day, I was left with like $40 in my pocket. And luckily, I was able to borrow money just so I can get back on my feet and stuff from another good friend of mine. But it was from that day forward, I vowed I am not driving anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. And I actually laughed a little bit when I was sitting at the bar that night, because there was one place that I would go that had a really cool bartender, Joe the barman. I'll never forget him. He's one guy I will mention because he was always good to me. And I was laughing, and the guy next to me, talking to the guy next to me who I became friends with, and he's like, what's so funny about that? I'm like, the last 2 car accidents I've been in were in green pickup trucks. So, at that point, my friend from up here comes down. We fixed the Mustang when he was down here. We went to a pick and pull where we were going to meet up with this guy's friend. And I told him, I said, look, I've got just enough money on me. Let me try to buy the parts for your truck so I can fix what I broke. He said, no, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll get it another time. I'm like, are you sure? There probably ain't going to be another time. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We'll get another time. So that kind of was that. That was the opportunity that I had to fix that truck. And because I didn't know what to look for and he did, I didn't know what parts to pull. I didn't know what to look for as far as fenders or, inner parts, bolts, nothing. I'm not a car person. I can't fix them. I admire them from afar. I can't fix them. And then we get the Mustang back up and running. He's now able to bring himself to work. That's when I decide, okay, I can actually sleep in. I don't have to drive him to work now. Let me sleep in for a little bit. He wakes me up just saying, hey, on my way to work. I'll see you later. I'm like, cool, dude. We're good. Don't worry. Then his drunk-ass mother wakes up and then starts screaming at me. Wakes me up. Chris, wake up. Where did he go? Where did he go? You're supposed to take him to work. I'm like, oh, no. The Mustang's fixed. He drove himself. He's all good. You're supposed to take him to work. I can't believe you didn't take him to work. I should kick you out right now. And then this is going on for like 20 minutes. And then she brought up my kids. No wonder you're a deadbeat father. No wonder your ex left you. No wonder your kids got taken because you're a deadbeat. Because you can't be trusted. Because you always fuck everything up. Oh, you couldn't even take him to work. And at that point, I said, you know what? Fuck this. Packed my shit, walked out the door. The last thing I said to his mother before I left is Alcoholics Anonymous is a wonderful thing, and you are tarnishing a very good legacy. And that's the last thing I said to her. So, now I'm homeless in Myrtle Beach with 2 bags in a city that rains every single day. His neighbor across the street was kind enough to let me stay with him. I said, okay, if there's ever anything that you would like from me, any money, any grocery help, anything, you tell me. I said, I will know if you tell me. Those were my exact words. He said, don't worry about it, just trying to help you out. It's what friends do. Okay. And I thought things were going good. I was sleeping on a very comfortable recliner, if you ask me. He would go to work at about 6 o'clock in the morning. He said, as long as you lock the door, you're good. I said, fine. Perfect with me. Don't worry. You're fine. Now, mind you, in Myrtle Beach around this time of year, it does get cold. I am anemic. I am always cold. There were times where, I did crank the heat a little bit hotter than he liked. And yes, there were times when I forgot to turn it off. Okay? But But I always cleaned up after myself. If I made food, I always cleaned up the pots and pans. I put everything away. If I took a shower, I made sure everything was clean. He did a very good job to keep his house clean, unlike the other guy who was infested with roaches. So I tried respecting that. So I figure, all right, use this opportunity to go out, do the things that I need to do. I'm staying with this guy for about a week and a half. I go to Broadway at the beach one day, marketing. I stayed for a show. I call him up. He doesn't answer. I text him. Hey, come down to Broadway. I think there's something really cool going on tonight. You guys should come down and hang out for a little bit. Let's grab some drinks. On me. Nothing. I'm like, all right, that's weird. I text him around 8:30. Hey, any chance you can pick me up from Broadway? I'm all set here. I think it's going to rain. I don't want to walk in the rain. It's going to be cold tonight. I hear nothing. I go back to his place. I walk the almost 2 miles that it is from Broadway at the beach back to his place. Knock on the door. Nothing. Door's locked. I'm like, oh shit, he's still out. So I'm waiting around. Nothing. Knocking on the door. Nothing. It's getting colder. Starting to rain. Text him. Hear nothing. Finally, at 2 o'clock in the morning, with a girl, not home. Oh, fuck. All right. Well, now what? At that point, I text fucknut across the street. I'm like, all right, he's not answering. I don't have anywhere to go. It's like, sleep in my truck. I'm like, all right. And it turns out that was the other guy's way of telling me that I got kicked out. No mention of, hey, I don't think this is working out. Hey, you haven't really kept up your end of the deals, which I did, but, whatever. Just lock me out. I wake up the next morning, I see all of my shit out on the front porch in a garbage bag. I said, you know what? That's it. I had just enough money and tips to where I was able to get myself a hotel for a week. That's when I found out that my friend up here was going to be coming down in another week to visit, to do everything. When I had left the other guy's apartment, I had cut all ties with him, with his friend, with the asshole that I was staying with in the beginning. I vowed I'm never going to speak to them again. And I didn't. I ended up going on TikTok every night, begging people on TikTok live, because I do have a decent following on TikTok. If you don't follow me yet, it's Chris Langle Magic. I was telling people, hey, look, I'm in a pinch right now. If you guys can donate, it's $27 a night for the hotel that I'm staying at. There were some nights when I couldn't make that. I was sleeping on the beach. There were some nights when I was sleeping under the pier. There were some nights where I was sleeping under my stuff because it would rain. I was having flashbacks to New York. And finally, my friend from up here comes down. I put all of my shit in his car, spend the night at the hotel that he had, and left. And I said, the next time I come down, I am not associating with anyone down here. I will do everything by myself. I will figure everything out by myself. I don't need anyone telling me, blowing any smoke up my ass. They're all full of shit down there, too, as I had found out. Turns out that the people that they claimed that they knew, they didn't really know, and all these connections that they claimed that they had, they didn't really have. And it turns out, you mention their name and you get dirty looks, as I had found out for the month and a half that I was down there. I vowed when I went down, I'm not coming back and going and dealing with that again. So, oh, no, I apologize. I'm thinking ahead. I'm thinking too far ahead. The first time I was supposed to go back with my friend, and he picked up a shift at work and couldn't bring me, so I had to use the emergency homeless plan that they have for their homeless outreach, which basically gives you a one-time ticket, Greyhound ticket, to anywhere in the country and out of Myrtle Beach. So I took it to Bridgeport. The next time I went down to Myrtle Beach was in March. I flew down there, and that's when I ended up coming back with my friend from up here. And unfortunately, I had to see Fucknut. Because he just happened to tag along. But I didn't make any eye contact with him. I didn't talk to him. Nothing. And you know the thing that really sucks about it? Is that Myrtle Beach is a really... Well, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a really nice place. Myrtle Beach is a shithole. Depending on where you go. If you're outside of the Strip, if you're in like the more local area, the more country area, it is a gorgeous place. Near the golf courses, near Merle's Inlet, near Pawleys Island, North Myrtle Beach, Conway. Hell, even like the outlets and stuff. Very, very beautiful. Very nice. The the locals are just fantastic. But you go to the main strip, and you're in Bridgeport. You're in New Haven. You're in Waterbury. You're in Hartford. It's all ghetto. It's like you've got the main strip, which is Ocean Boulevard, which is right on the water. Then you got Yaupon, and I believe it was Joe White, something like that, which is all ghetto. Prostitutes, drugs, cocaine, horrible shit. And then Kings Highway, which is more touristy, and anything past Kings Highway is actually really nice. But the thing that sucks, and I'm being straight up honest with you guys right now, is if I've been honest this entire time, but I'm being straight up honest with you. I vowed I'm never going back to Myrtle Beach because I don't want to run into that guy again. And he's everywhere, and he hangs out at all of the spots that I would go to. He introduced me to him. I don't want to take the chance of running into him. I don't want to take the chance of getting roped into any other situations that he got me involved in, especially after that Hells Angels incident where I honestly thought I was going to get shot because they came up to the truck and they were asking me who I was and if I knew him, and I had to lie through my teeth and say I was Uber Eats and I was waiting for something from the Chinese restaurant. Because I thought I was going to die that night. And honestly, I thought I was going to die after he told me he was going to shoot me in the head while I was sleeping because I didn't fix his Mustang in time. And then I thought I was going to die when his mother came out of her room with a hammer saying that if I fell back asleep, she's going to club me in the head with a hammer because I didn't take him to work. And then I thought I was going to die when I was left out in 30-degree temperatures in the middle of the night while it was raining. But I didn't. And it taught me enough to know to never go back. So yeah, that's my Myrtle Beach story. Oh, and then I figured I would say this too. It was New Year's Eve. He goes out with his friends. I'm stuck in the house because I really didn't want to go out with his mother, who at midnight comes over and fucking forcibly kisses me. She was drunk. She didn't know any better. I'm a guy. Can't really talk too much about that. But that's the first time I'm ever talking about it. It happened. It's alright, though. I forgave it. I let it go. She didn't know what she was doing. She's also, like, 60, so she's not attractive. It's not like there was any sort of thing going on. I kind of just brushed it off my shoulder. I said, yeah, you know what? You're drunk. It's alright. But that is my Myrtle Beach story, and I'm sticking to it, and that's why I'm not going back. That's why I don't drive anymore. That's why I'm done with the South. I'll go to Florida, because Florida's about as northern as you can get. Florida is all of the people from Connecticut and New York and Massachusetts and Vermont who are sick of the prices and shit up here, so they go down there where it's the same prices and hotter weather. Hell, at this point, I'll go to Florida again before I go to Myrtle Beach, and I hate Florida. So yeah. That's my Myrtle Beach story, in full. Was it all bad? No. Like I said, I made great connections down there. I did good shows down there. I performed on stage down there. I almost had a contract with a place down there. I made friends down there. There was a place I walked into and I wouldn't have to pay to eat as long as I performed for all the patrons. I was almost booked 4 days a week with close-up gigs, but because the guy never called me back, I couldn't. You know, I met a lot of great people. I met a lot of really, really awesome people. And there's aspects of Myrtle Beach that I miss. The beach itself, even though I don't swim. The amount of filming that I got done down there. Holy shit, I was filming magic so much down there I could have put together a TV special, which I thought about doing. The amount of lives that I did down there. The fact that I was able to mention a certain guy, and I was able to go into any bar that I wanted, no charge, drinks paid for, and I was able to perform. And I've got 2 Arizonas right here that I haven't even opened yet. Till now. I loved the Market Common. I loved it. It reminded me of home. Upper class, high-end areas. Some millionaire houses down there. Some rinky-dinky shacks. When I went down there the second time, when I flew down, I couldn't get a hotel, so I literally slept on a crackhead's floor. I didn't even know the guy. Him and his buddy shot heroin in front of me, like, used my suitcases to, like, hold all of their stuff, like, on top of. But because I showed everybody in a restaurant a magic trick, the guy's like, oh, you could stay with me tonight. And I'm like, I got nowhere else to go. Yeah, it's cold. I'm not doing this. But yeah, I won't go back because, sadly, as sad as it sounds, because of one guy that unfortunately you really can't avoid down there. So, it hurts, but it's true. Like, I hate it, but it's true. You know? It's like, shit. It was the place that I fell in love with from the first time I went down. And, one person killed it for me. Which sucks. Which really, really sucks. But it's a big world. Myrtle Beach is one place. So many other opportunities that I have. So many other options that I have. I just kind of wish it could have ended on a different note, that's all. And to the guy that promised me the world down there and ended up giving it all back to me in a fucking broken basket, go fuck yourself. To the guy that kicked me out at 2 o'clock in the morning after I thought I did nothing wrong, even though his excuse was I never did anything for him, I never offered him anything, I told him to ask. I said, I won't know if you need anything unless you ask me. To that guy, fuck you. To the other guy that he was hanging out with that almost got me killed by Hell's Angels, fuck you. To the owner of the restaurant that banned me because I was apparently soliciting, even though I had full permission to do magic there, but because I missed a tip on one fucking night and told me to never come back, fuck you. To the crackhead that I ended up sleeping on your floor, even though I told you I don't do drugs, you offered me some, and I didn't take them, fuck you. But to everybody else, Willie, Joe the barman, Good Bread, Sarah, Ashley, Joey, Jim, Timmy Boots. There was this one guy, for some reason, they called him Cornbread. I don't know why. Francine. Karen over at the Boardwalk restaurant. Everybody at the Boardwalk restaurant. Everybody over at Riptides. Everybody over at Beach House. Mo Moons. Everybody there. Everybody at the little Christian coffee shop that I would go to every morning and listen to my church broadcast, because I'll admit I was really missing my mother. To them, who really made me feel at home. To, what the hell was his name? I think his name was Josiah? No. Isaiah. To Isaiah, who helped me through some hard times. To, God, who else? To Jim. Jonathan from Tin Roof. Everybody at Tin Roof. Everybody at Krabby Al's. Everybody that was at the Magic Shop. Everybody at the Simpsons 4D Theater that I became friends with. Everybody at Market Common who I became friends with. I miss all of you. And maybe if some circumstances change and I find out that either that guy's not there anymore or there's a 100% guaranteed chance that I will not see him, then maybe I'll be back. But until then, it's unknown. Like, I even took Myrtle Beach off of my tour plan. I was going to go down there to the Asher Theater. I was going to hit up Tin Roof again, too. To Jan. Jan, one of my favorite people in the whole world. Jan Hemmelrick, the one who runs Mo Moons. They were fantastic. He's the man. Let me go into that restaurant anytime I wanted him to perform. But that was the same thing with Good Bread. That was the same thing with Joe the Barman. That was the same thing with Willie. That was the same thing with Other Joe. That was the same thing with Ryan. I think the other guy's name was Zach. Coolest. Oh, and Jonathan, too. The coolest people that you can ever meet, who helped me through so much. And I know that they're not ever going to hear this podcast, and I know that nobody's listening right now, because let's face it, who the hell listens past 10 minutes? How can you listen to the sound of my voice? But yeah, they were all amazing, and I hope one day our paths cross again. They will cross again, I have a feeling, but I don't think it's going to be in Myrtle Beach. I think it's going to be somewhere else. So yeah. So all the people at the, so many people I can thank, and god damn, I feel like this is like a monologue, like I'm retiring or something. No, I'm just saying, I remember these people even though it's been a year and I haven't seen anybody, Sarah from Waffle House. KM from Waffle House. Joey from Waffle House. Janet from Waffle House. Janet is the best. I wouldn't even have to make an order if I walked into Waffle House. My seat was clear, my coffee was made, my table was wiped, and my order was already on the fucking grill. And she knew exactly how I wanted my grits and exactly how I wanted my hash browns. She was awesome. I wish everybody down there, except for the 4 people, absolutely nothing but the best. I really do. I want them to succeed. I want Goodbread to take Riptides and fucking Beach House. I want him to expand. I want him to take over Myrtle Beach. Because he's a good guy. You know? Anyway, so that was the beginning of the year. I come back up to Connecticut. I end up living with my grandmother. My kids are down in Florida. At that point, I start working with Pete and Chris Amusements. And to save another hour, it was the same thing from April to October. Wake up, do bounce houses, go to gigs, make money. Do the same thing all over again. At that point, I'm loving my life. I'm loving it. I wake up every day with a smile on my face. My depression is nowhere to be found. I'm playing guitar in the garage almost until 2 o'clock in the morning, knowing that I can sleep in and just enjoy my life. I'm loving my life. I was feeling better. I was losing weight. I was getting in shape. I was sober, willingly sober. I wasn't going to AA, mind you, and I hadn't been to church in a while, but I didn't have the urge to drink. I didn't have the urge for any self-harm or any, anything like that. I didn't have that urge. I was just living life, man, and it was fucking great. And then I get the gig with Compounds, and my life just goes from that level to a level up, and I'm like, nothing can get any better. And at that point, I hate to say it, that's when it stopped. Because at that point, that's when my ex called me. And shit went down the hill from there. Got to travel all over the place in the summertime, though. Massachusetts, New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. It's long before any of the vaccine bullshit came in. Back when we were, free to travel, without showing your papers. Which I don't have them, not getting them. But, my personal choice, I don't care what you do. Hell, my girlfriend's got it. My girlfriend's got the jab. I don't care. She's okay with me not getting it. But I was making bread over the fucking summer, too. I was making a lot of money. I was doing my golf reviews on the side. I was painting up guitars on the side. I was doing my shows. Coming and going as I pleased. I was actually free. I had my freedom. I was happy. And of course, if I say why I'm no longer happy, because I'm going to completely admit it to you guys right now, I'm not as happy as I was, and I don't think I will be for a very long time. My depression is back, my drinking urges are back, and, things have added to it, things have factored into it, but unfortunately, you just got to kind of push through. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where just, push through and hope for the best. But there was a point in time in my life I thought I was on the right track. So, and the reason why I'm not getting into why it hasn't been like that since the middle of October is because if you do enough research on me and listen to enough of my podcast, you'll figure out why. But it's going to make me sound like an absolute piece of fucking shit if I were to say why. But you're smart, you can figure it out. So. But fast forward to now. 2 days before New Year's Day. It's the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st. Sunday is the 1st. No, Saturday's the 1st. Why did I think Sunday was the 1st? Saturday is the 1st. What do I plan on doing this year? What are my goals? And I talked about these the other day, but I really sat down and thought about it. Really sat down. Because my friend Pete made a good point. He's like, I've got business goals and I've got personal goals. My business goals is I want what I want every year. I want to surpass 100 gigs, which I'm usually really good at doing, except for the COVID year. I only had like 40. I want to perform in at least 5 different states. I want to build my illusion show. I want to make it really nice. I want to invest in lighting and sound. I want to invest in my show. I want to invest in me. I want to make me better as a performer, as a show. I want people to be able to look at my show and be like, oh shit, that's a pretty damn good show. I want my show to be able to sell out a theater. If I got to market it to the point where, fuck, yeah, I'm running out of money and I eventually do sell out a theater, so be it. Otherwise, like, you know, I'd like to continue doing the corporate gigs. I just bought a fuck ton of marketing material. I'm actually getting my marketing stuff back up and running. My gig salad's back. My gig masters, or as they go by the bash now, is back. I started looking at something that my friend Dave Riley showed me called Bark, which is another gig getting thing. So I've got that going. My website's back up, chrislanglemagic.com. I want to start exercising more. I want to be able to take care of myself more. These are personal goals. I want to take care of my teeth. What I mean by that is I want to get them fixed. I have 4 broken teeth in my mouth because I got drunk one night and ate a shot glass to impress a girl. And also because I know how to eat glass. I've been eating glass for the last couple of years as part of my close-up, like, sideshow type thing. But, yeah. So there's that. There's a couple things I want to do. Health-wise. So, but we'll get to that when we get to it. But, guys, I'm going to get going. I hope everybody has a good rest of your year. I hope everybody has a great, happy new year. And please, don't ever give up on yourself, man. Don't be like me. Don't be an asshole. So, I'm glad everybody listened. Thank you very much. I'm Chris Langle with Chris Langle Magic. This is the Magician with a Microphone podcast. See you later, guys.